Welcome to Her Brains, His Looks Real Estate and Lifestyle podcast. It's hosted by two of the smartest and most attractive realtors in the business. Well, according to their mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the brains of the operation, Erika Portanova-Songa, and the looks, George E. O'Connell.
Hello, Erika.
Hello, George.
How are you?
I'm good. I've missed this.
How is up the mountain in Trumbull doing?
Oh, we're doing okay in Trumbull, actually. We're
Yeah.
hanging in there. How's good old Black Rock?
Black Rock is good. I have a lovely view of Fairfield Avenue if I look around the corner a little bit. But we're doing well. It's a beautiful day. Blue skies everywhere.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be podcasting. I said that last time, and then we let like 3 weeks go by. So we are back every week. And I think we have to, I know I was having a hard time committing to the fact that this is our new reality for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I have a space, which I haven't told you yet, that we could do. Up in Milford at a client's place. So hopefully that'll be secured. I got to work on the internet there. And so hopefully we'll be in the same room together doing this again.
Yeah. Because
and
I
not doing it
miss
over-
having us like across the table from each other. I think we're better off that way.
And I
So,
think
you
the
know.
audio and the video comes out better. I think when we're in
Yeah.
the same, when we're using the
Well,
Rodecaster versus these, which I haven't enjoyed, the USB mics versus the regular mics.
I like my new. Well, I like it's cute and small and blue, so I like my little mic.
Yeah,
that
you got a
made me
Yeti,
buy.
Yeti Nano, and I got
I
the
don't know.
Yeti Big Poppy Daddy.
Yeah, I think it's cute. But yeah, no, you're right. We're better off together because we have better energy this way when we, feed off each other's energy in the room and podcast better. I
Yeah.
guess.
So it's episode 13, 14?
Well, technically it's a 13th, but why,
no,
George? Is
no.
it 14? Why is it
Because
14?
there's no 13th floor in any building I've ever been to.
So apparently now there's no 13th podcast in any
13th
podcast.
podcast
13th?
episode number 14, straight to 14.
So I don't think like that. I'm not superstitious, but
Either
but
am
if you
I,
are,
so number 14.
all right, hopefully it brings us luck. So today we're going to we're going to compare how our market's doing in our 4 featured towns, Fairfield, Trumbull, Milford, Westport. How we did this month, this year versus like May, for example, last year. And we'll compare also just in general how the counties are doing, specifically Fairfield and New Haven counties, which I think will be interesting because COVID obviously had a lot of effect on our real estate market. Some negative, some positive, a lot of interesting activity out there. But before we start, I have a Let's Stump George.
So you did have one. You lied.
I did. So, well, lie is a strong.
I'm
lie's a
sorry.
very strong
You
word.
fibbed.
Well, lie's a strong word. Usually, I get a bit more creative. I had to be a little last minute with this one, but I like it. So,
I'm ready. Go ahead.
okay. Well, it's not a. Okay. So, do you know, George? Because you do know everything. What
Okay.
is the hashtag symbol technically called?
Pound.
No. Let me. I'm going to let you think about it for 1 second because you're smarter than this, George. The
Okay.
hashtag
The,
symbol is technically called.
Tic-tac-toe board.
No. I'm going to give you one more chance because wow, you do not know this. I can't believe you don't know this. You know
You mean
everything.
this thing?
Yeah, the hashtag HBL, hashtag
Yeah.
Her Brains is Looks. Yeah,
What does it stand for?
yeah. Well, what's it called technically? It's actually It actually has a name, and the name kind of makes sense with the. All right, I'll give you a hint. The number of edges and lines dictates the name a little bit. Go back to your Latin. Come on.
E pluribus unum dunum. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna. This is painful, so I'm gonna help you out here. It's called
Go ahead.
an octothorpe.
That's just
OCTOTHORP.
ridiculous.
It is
Ridiculous.
not.
Yeah.
So no, but
An
think about it.
octothorpe.
Yes, octo we all know means what? 8.
8.
Thank you. So it's an octothorpe. I think it's kind of cool because we all talk about hashtag, but the real name, should know the proper
Well,
word.
I'm gonna Google that right now.
You can, you can because I just double checked it. And also, I was at the barn earlier riding with my mother and my daughter. So it's three generations now doing the equestrian
Is
thing.
that why we're doing our podcast at 5:30 instead
Yes,
of
because
4?
I
Okay.
maybe but I'm
Well,
gonna
I
pay you
wasn't.
back for
I
that.
wasn't exactly ready at 4 anyway.
Well, I felt bad, and I I'm gonna owe you big one on that. But so my mom says to me, who doesn't really understand podcasting, said, I said, well, I gotta go, Mom. I gotta get ready for this podcast. And she looks at me, she goes, ooh, she's like, you're gonna look like that. I was like, she's like, are you gonna like dress up a little bit? I said, no, it's fine, Mom. We're good. So I have not changed or showered or dressed since I got back from the barn. So sorry, Mom. I am looking the way I looked an hour ago when I saw you. So
So
once again,
we have 6 people viewing right now. I just want to say
woohoo!
hello to our voiceover person. Adrian is in the rooms with us, and we also have Chef Andrew's mom was listening, maybe still is. He doesn't tell me who is here. So, anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. We're gonna go over some real estate stats today. Try to make it a little fun. Make fun of Erika's background, little tiny horses. Did you add a second horse?
I don't know.
There was only one
I
last
put
week.
well, they were on the floor and I put them back up. I listen.
Okay.
It's not going well here living in the house like
I
this.
got
It's
my slot machine back there that my grandfather got way back in the day out in Detroit, but that's a whole different construction story.
I want to hear about that.
It's a
Do you wanna share it?
5-cent slot machine, the Baby Lincoln. It's actually a real deal, still works. So,
Are you keeping it as like nostalgia from your grandfather?
I just think it's really cool. Really cool.
That's my
It's
point.
big.
Like you're not going to sell it though, because you tend to do a lot of the buying. And
Yeah,
selling.
it's worth a lot of, well, not a lot of money, but like 3-4 grand. But
Really?
It's, yeah. that
Yeah, but
silly
don't.
machine.
It's nostalgic, right? So that's kind of cool. Like you.
I just think it's cool because it works. And my friend Jimmy Cabaret gave me the Barnum and Bailey official poster over there. So
That's
cool
pretty
things.
Cool.
I don't know if we saw those last time. I think we did a little
I saw
redecorating.
I saw the Barnum last time, that one.
Oh,
But
okay.
now next time we do a podcast, I want to have much cooler stuff behind me too. I want to
Besides
trump your stuff.
All right, it's not going to happen. So
No, it will. I have some really amazing things. I'm going to totally make you feel bad.
All right,
'Cause
shall
I'm better
we-
than you.
shall we kick it in? And we're going to show you the end of the May numbers, and then we'll touch on where the real estate market is going. And the direction it's going in from April, and the downside of the pandemic to what we're going to say is significantly different. So we'll start with the new listings, Erika. We
Okay.
have Fairfield, Trumbull, again, Milford, and Westport.
Yep. So new listings in Fairfield. So in the month of May, we had 161. We had 137 in this past May, but last year we had 161. So you're about 15% less new listings, if you will, in Fairfield.
181. What are you watching?
Wait, what am I looking at? Hold,
181 and
please.
153.
New listings. May new list Fairfield.
181.
I don't have 181. I have 161 for May of 2019.
Yes, 181.
Yeah, 161.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was what we had. So basically, we're down 15% in the number of new listings in Fairfield. Same. So Trumbull, we're down 20% in new listings in the month of May, and Milford, we are down almost 40% in the number of new listings comparing May of 2020 to May of 2019. And Westport, we're up 17%, which is interesting. That's the only town up 17% the number of new listings compared to May of last year.
And again, we're attributing that, I think a lot of it has to do with the people leaving New York City and coming up. And as you get closer to the city, Westport, you're going to see, obviously there's more houses coming on the market because there's more people coming up and want them to obviously buy.
Right.
So
And they
where do you
want to
wanna
be
head to
closer to
next?
city. Okay. Sure. Do you want to do sales price?
Sure.
Always interesting. So sale price. So in Fairfield, we are up in sale price about 6.5%.
Yep.
Interesting number there, 716,000 this past May, and last year, May, 673,000. Trumbull, we are up about 3% in sale price. To give a perspective, that's 430,000, and last year would have been 416,000. And Milford were up 8.5% in sales price. That's so further north you go, typically the less pricing, if you will, or they're more less expensive. So 371,000 sale price versus last year was $342,000 in sale price.
And you're
And then
getting out of
Westport,
Fairfield County as well.
yeah, getting out of
You're
Fairfield,
getting out
exactly.
of the premium you're paying in Fairfield County.
But what's interesting, Westport, so going back to Fairfield County, you're actually down just 2.6% in sale price, but that's Westport's average is 1,356,000, and then last year was 1,392,000. So they are such different towns and have such different offerings. It's very interesting, the contrast in the numbers. But that's the average sale prices. So
And these again are single family homes, and this is
right.
closing at the end of May.
So the net so far, you're seeing we had less new listings in May compared to last year, but we had higher sale prices compared to last year because it's a seller's market. So we have less inventory. Therefore, the sales prices are being driven up. Less inventory, more buyers. So the prices go up, and it benefits the sellers, not the buyers.
And that basically will tell you the inventory that's down compared to May 2019. If you look at the numbers, down 30%, down 33%, down 42%.
Yeah.
So that shows you the inventory is down, hence going into that seller's market, right?
Yep. It is correct. So it's again great for if you are interested in selling, you should not wait. Now is the time. Our spring market that we had is now, so it is time to sell now. Do not wait till the fall. What do you want to do next? Want to do?
You want to do? Well, head over to closed sales. That's always.
Okay. That's a good
Again,
one.
it's going to show down numbers, and
Right.
we'll kick you back up. But the closed sales compared to May 2020 to 2019, they're all showing down.
Yep.
And Milford again significantly down at 31%, but you're farther away from New York City, so that that
The
tidal
draw
wave
for the New York tidal wave, buyers.
is
It's too far for them.
It's too far of a commute, but
Yeah.
compared to that 31% that Milford is down in May, if we go back up to Milford in April, it was down 70. I'm sorry, the closed sales, 33%. So that one actually stayed pretty good. But if you look at Fairfield, for instance, we'll kick it up here as soon as I'm able to. Oh, I gotta click it over here. I'm trying to click it on my screen. These two screens don't make it easy.
Well, so Fairfield, you had, let's see, April's difference was 63 for closed sales was. Oh no, that wasn't.
Yeah,
that.
really, the big numbers are the new listings. That's
new
where you
listings,
see.
yeah.
I mean, these the ones coming into the pipeline.
Yeah.
If you saw the new listings in May, and we'll get back to that real quick. And these numbers in May were down 14, 20, 40. And if you look at the new listings in Fairfield, we're down in May 68%, for instance. So that number is huge. It was down 68, and now it's down 15. So just think.
Yeah.
So that spring market that Erika was talking about was delayed from all the way in March, and now it's obviously coming in, late May. A lot of homes came in that last week of May, and June seems to be continuing the surge,
Yes.
which we'll get to in the next episode number 14/15.
Well, if I could just speak to the seller's market, how the climate is. For example, I have these lovely first-time home buyers who are buying in the high twos, low three price range. Actually, in this case, in Milford, and we have put in probably 3 different offers on 3 different homes, all multiple offers. And I don't mean just, we're talking like 30 showings in a weekend. We're one of 6 offers, and they are going, these houses are ultimately selling for well over asking. So asking price of X, and they're selling for 30,000 more. So that price point, the entry level price points in the various towns, those are the price points we're seeing a lot of competition with. Same with Trumbull. I had my neighbor's house was selling. They had 24 offers and or 27 showings in one day, and they had 10 offers, and of course it sold immediately. So
Well,
it's
here's the
interesting.
question then.
Yeah.
when you're pricing the house and you're obviously getting over asking,
Right.
do you say to yourself, you have the numbers, you have the data, so you know your pricing is spot on, but are you adding some juice to that price because you know that you're expecting 27 showings and 5 offers, or what is your equation for that, or do you just price it so there is a bidding war and that way the price is automatically increased?
So interesting. There's different theories.
Good
My
question,
approach.
right?
It's a spot on question, George. Excellent question. Excellent question, George. No, so one could price a house below market value to really get that whole multiple offer situation going on. And it will happen because the reality is the buyers know what market value is. Market value is what the house is worth in today with the current competition and the current comparables. And let's say a house is worth 325,000 all day long, it's worth 325,000. But if I want to make it a bit more attractive in a market that's not like now, maybe I list it at 309 or 319 or 315, and people are going to say, "Oh wow, that's less than it's really
And
worth."
then you're hoping for the bidding war and
Right.
praying.
But
Obviously
yeah,
your
it's not
sellers,
my approach.
Your
Right.
sellers are involved in that
Of
conversation.
course they are, and I think we have to talk scenarios. And I think that's I don't personally take that approach. I do suggest and always do suggest that you list the house for what it's worth. It's worth what it is, because remember, you have to sell it 2 times. You sell it once to the buyer, but it has to also appraise, which means the bank appraiser, because most clients are need a mortgage to purchase. The bank appraiser has to see the value and have it appraised at or above the sale price.
Because
So
he's using, he's using the
comparables.
same data that you're using.
Yep.
So your comp's got to come in. So when it
Right.
comes in above, what you find the data to read, and it is a bidding war, they're just coming with more cash to the table, or you still have to
That's
get the mortgage.
That's exactly what they're doing. It's interesting. I just had that situation just happen actually yesterday. I resolved it late last night. We had, without sharing the address, we had multiple offers on this great house here in Trumbull, and the buyer got it for well over asking, and ultimately the appraisal came in well below asking price, or rather well below the price that the
All right,
contract had been agreed to.
Define well below 25.
Okay, fine. Oh, I got these percentages.
Just give me rough numbers.
Let's just say we agreed to 427,000, and the appraisal came in at 405,000.
Okay, so
Now-
20 grand to the table they have to come.
There you go. So that prohibits, that then stops the mortgage process. Now you're at a halt. So now you have to decide: do you renegotiate the sale price, or does the buyer see the value and is convinced of the value and offer to bring in more money as a down payment? Because remember, the bank is only going to lend on a house that they feel is valued at X amount of dollars. They're not going to overlend something because it's risky. So but I did explain to my seller, I represent the seller. Here's the problem, I said: unless you have a cash buyer next time, and you might, chances are no, but you might, you're going to have this problem happen over and over, because appraisers, it's a lot of work to fail an appraisal. In other words, it's a lot of work for them to prove that the house is not worth the agreed sale price in that contract. So if it happened to this first appraiser, it'll happen to the second transaction. It'll happen again and again. So we did make it work. She needed some time to understand the numbers and how it worked, but we got it together.
And what's
little bit of give
interesting
on her
on
part.
that, when you're in the bigger volume, more expensive homes, and a lot of cash comes to the table on those homes because of where jumbos are and what kind of money they have to bring. But, that also affects the tax base of that house. They said, oh, this house sold for 2.2 back in 2010. So guess what your house is appraised at? Your old market value.
Right.
And then you're coming in, all these houses on, for instance, Reading Road. I had a client looking at a few, and the appraisals were so astronomical because that's what they sold for back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It drives up everything, the assessments, the taxes. So
And you say, oh, they got reappraisals in the town, but the fact of the matter is they have to go and fight that tax assessment,
Yep, they absolutely do. And you have to do that with comparables and with somebody to help you. And that's things that also realtors can offer. We can help give you the ammunition to go and fight your town evaluations or town assessments. So that's what we're here for. So call one of us.
Call one of us. So we do close sales?
We did close sales. Yes, we did.
All right. So days on the market is one we always kind of touch on a little bit.
Okay, and I got it. Actually, Fairfield days on market a little bit long. Oh,
A
sorry.
little bit longer. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me do average. Wait, I have to put not median. Dear God. Okay, Fairfield.
This is
Average days on
remarkable
market.
numbers here.
Yeah,
Days on
a
market.
lot longer. Interesting enough. So 17% longer on the market than it was in May of 2019. Trumbull, for example, we have about it's 38%. This is interesting. 38% less time on the market than it was last year in Trumbull. I can attribute that to multiple offer situations. Maybe the price. I don't know. You have to. It's,
I mean,
it depends on
basically, the
price
numbers
points,
of days on the market, the slide that I'm showing in May, Fairfield went up about a week. The fact of the matter is the other ones are down,
but a lot.
about,
Yeah.
so days on the market in Trumbull went down 13 days.
Right.
you
And
know,
Milford is down 17% and Westport's down 29%. And that just shows you the frenzy of the market. So how quickly people are
My slide's a
performing.
little different than yours, so I'm
Oh,
not sure.
sorry.
You might be doing the average. That's what you're doing.
I'm doing average because you told me I have to do average.
I know.
You yelled at me, average. Oh,
I got to crunch the numbers.
there you go.
So Fairfield.
I'm under
up
your
at-
tutelage, George. Always do average, not median.
I know. And I think I'm still on median. It just won't switch to average.
Well, I can speak to the numbers just to be clear. So Trumbull, Milford, Westport all down significantly in terms of time on market, right? So Trumbull 38% less
Got
days
it
on
now.
market,
Sorry.
Milford 17, that's okay, and Westport 30% quicker to be off the market. So or less days rather on market. So again, that just what I said earlier, that's just showing the market and the frenzy and the want to get out of wherever they are to get here.
I didn't even
My
know
guess
days
is
on a
COVID.
market had median and average. I didn't even
We learn
realize
something
that
new every
was
time.
a switch. That's something
Yeah,
I
so-
pre-switched.
So again, this slide tells you again that if you are considering selling your house, don't wait. That would be an absolutely foolish decision. Do it now. Of course, you've got to also be comfortable with people coming into your house. Understand they're wearing masks, but there's COVID, awareness. So there's a lot of other factors that play in. But if you are considering selling and that COVID guidelines and adhering to that does not frighten you, then you should sell the house. Now's the time.
And
That's
this is one we haven't touched on all that much, but since we have it, we might as well do it, right?
Sure.
The
What are we touching on?
infamous price per square foot.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Okay. Oh, there we go. Price per square footage.
But
All
it's
right.
good. It's good news.
Yeah, it's good.
All across the board. In Fairfield's up almost 5. You have Trumbull almost 7%. The Milford is up 10, and then Westport's down slightly, 2.4%.
Yeah. Interesting. Now that tells me that's because of the multiple offers driving up the price points, the closing numbers, bringing that square footage, the price per square footage up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think. So, yeah. I mean, again, all these stats are going to be pretty fluid is how we've been looking at it, right? So we had our frenzy coming up now in May. April, people started getting their feet wet a little bit with this everything going on. And May was a big month, and we're seeing it again in June. So the month is still continuing to be very busy. George and I are very busy. We're working a lot, which is what we like to do as realtors, especially this time of year. So
We're a little relaxed in the afternoon, but the morning was a little crazy. I went, it looked like I went golfing, and you went riding a horse or
okay,
whatever.
listen, that's called survival and riding.
yes.
It's irrelevant when I ride because I still work later and after in the evening.
It's
I'm showing houses
irrelevant.
tonight, actually. Well, I need that to
I
be
got you.
composed and normal.
All right, quickly, anything else you want to touch on as far? We're going to try to see if this InfoSpark works. We probably go back to the slides, to be honest, but it's a little more fluid
it.
with the slides.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this,
Let us know what
this,
you guys think of the bars, of graphs.
Yeah, this program has a lot of information, but we might have to
Yeah.
tap down it or bring it down a little bit. But overall, Fairfield County in May, so stick to the May column if you can, Erika.
Oh, yep, on it. Okay. Of what? Price per square foot or sales price?
No, just the overall highlights. So the new listings are
Oh.
down 22%.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yep. New listings down 22, almost 23% in May. Let's see, New Haven County, they were down 33% for new listings.
Yeah.
And,
I just have Fairfield County up now.
yep.
But do you see a lot of negative numbers on here? But these numbers were significantly 10, 15 points higher. But the thing to take apart is look at the median sales price in Fairfield County, up 5.3%. And then the average sale price is up 9%.
Yeah, so we had less new listings, less pendings, less closed sales, but higher sale prices.
And the month supply of inventory, again, seller's market, is down 33.7%.
That's a lot. That's a high number.
And
So
then
same. Let's mention New Haven
County.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, new listings are down 33, pendings down to 15%. Closed sales, remember, all in New Haven County, 24.7. You got the days on the market down 18%, and the average price in the median basically unchanged. And then the month supply, again, way down 35%, showing you that the needle is going towards the seller's market versus the buyer's market.
So here's here's an interesting thing or a fun thing we could discuss on air. What do you think, George, is going to happen next month? So we're in June. I feel like we're continuing from May. What do you think will happen in July?
Well, I mean, let's stick with June and how we're off already. We know, Fairfield, for instance, you did the highlights today of last week I think you do Fairfield, Trumbull, Black Rock. I forget the towns you hit.
Oh, right. Yeah, I do a weekly number.
Weekly
right. Every
number.
week I do the number of the stats from the previous week of what took a binder, what took a contract, what closed, what came on new. So,
but if you look at those numbers, compared to the May numbers, so we're in June, second, third week of June now, and you look at those numbers from even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and all the way back to May, where obviously the numbers of new listings, the number of closings, pendings, accepted offers are going up. So we are,
we're an uptrend,
June's going to finish strong as compared to 2019. I think it's going to kill it. And July, I think, is going to be another strong month. And what happens in August, hopefully strong. And then we have to just sit back and see what happens. Round 2 of the pandemic. Is it ever going to happen?
Yeah.
Where are people's mindsets going to be? I can't predict that, but it's going to be strong for the next few months, without a doubt.
Yeah. So we'll start posting weekly on our site the weekly real estate stats that happened the week, the previous week, all the stats going forward. But I'm no economist, as I'm sure you're shocked to hear that. However, I do everybody. Don't make fun. But I do think we're going to I think it's going to be an upswing. I think July is going to continue to be pretty aggressive. And I do think we're going to see a little bit of a lull in August, just because I think August is typically very slow, right?
That's because everyone's finishing their vacations. I just don't know if people are.
But none of us are going on vacation, are we? Or are we allowed to go anywhere?
I don't know. I mean, family members are starting to travel for work starting next week. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a strong market going through August, September.
Oh, I think it'll be still strong, George.
Of.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see the lull in September. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, because it has to have a lull at some point. It has to, temper out a little bit. So, but yeah, it's going to be a busy summer for us. That'll be good. And I'd like to do a shout out. Last night went out for the first time. Out like in a real human source of
you went locally
to Fire Engine Pizza with my girlfriend Jill. Shout out Jill. We actually had drinks and food.
You don't have to say shout out every time.
Well, I went with my friend Jill. Hi, Jill. And we had drinks and we had apps.
Black Rock is a kind of a funky, I don't know, it's considered Brooklyn-ish, hipster, if we can say that section of Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah, well, you live there, so you're hip.
I do. Obviously, I'm hip and cool. But, today it was interesting to see all the doors open and people walking in, and those
That's
who want to
nice.
sit
Ugh.
outside, because today is the beginning of phase 2 for Connecticut. And the next week is going to be, interesting. And the restaurants are way down. They're hurting.
Of course they're hurting.
They're going to continue to hurt. But in the grand scheme of things, again, where they were a month, 2, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
they got to be excited, super excited.
Of course they are. And on a personal, selfish note, I just enjoyed so much not having to create dinner for the first time. It's just so nice to be served every so often. So I really enjoyed last night.
Yeah, I bet.
It was good to
I was
be
going to
out.
ride my bike down and say hello. There's Adrian, our friend.
I invited
Adrian.
you. Hi, Adrian. Oh, Adrian, we were just talking about you. We owe you dinner. We know that. We're not forgetting. We're just waiting for COVID to pass a little bit. I told you George to bike down and visit us. I invited you.
Yeah, I was going to, but Jeopardy was on.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay. And he's 85 years old. So real estate's great. So again, obviously George and I are full-time realtors with William Pitt Sotheby's based in Southport, but we service all of Connecticut, particularly Fairfield County and New Haven County. So we are full-time. We also just launched a management company, HBL Property Management. So for those who are in need of that, reach out to us. We can talk to you about that as well.
Absolutely. So this is the end of episode 14, and we will be back. And I think we're going to go back to the slides, Ulrika.
I think you like it better. Okay. Yeah, we'll be back next week, most likely on a Tuesday, but we'll let you know, or Wednesday. We don't know. But it'll be definitely next week.
Everyone
Back.
keep the faith and buy houses.
Yeah.
Take care.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed by the podcast hosts and their guests are theirs solely. The information shared has been professionally sourced and disseminated through the resources provided by the sponsoring real estate brokerage and their real estate experiences.